not just reading theory or hypothetical lessons, but no, this is actually what's happening and this is how it gets applied. Hello, this is Dr. Jeff Kim, and I'm a part of the part-time faculty, adjunct faculty over at Cal State University Fullerton, and I've been doing this for over 10 years, a variety of different classes. And this past spring in 2025, I had a chance to teach a new course, Adolescent Development 320, and it was really great, and so glad to also receive the support of Professor Tierney. Now, the course is completed now, so at the end of the course, students can complete a SOQ or student opinion questionnaire. There's two components to it. The first is kind of more of a multiple choice Likert scale score, so on a variety of criterion on their experience with the course and the instructor, and so you can get some feedback. It kind of looks a little bit like a GPA a little bit, and it also aggregates by others who teach the course, so you can kind of see where you are at compared with others. And then secondly is the more qualitative feedback that students write, usually some type of quotations. And so what I've done is, from the actual PDF document that I could access, I went ahead and copied some of the quotations because I thought I'd share what happens when a instructor receives this feedback. What are some things that they can do? So I just want to say that this qualitative feedback is actually looked at by both tenured and also adjunct faculty at regular intervals, not just informally, but more formally through, I guess you could say, evaluations. Now for myself, most of the time it's not an evaluation period, so I just like looking at it for personal growth. And so I'm gonna go through the lens of the glows, grows, and goes. So I had a chance to look at some of the feedback, and I thought I'd share out on these 3 points. The first are the glows. So once again, big shout out to Professor Tierney, who helped to kind of build out the course content. Oftentimes you have a course custodian who kind of manages and helps to curate a lot of the material, also the text, and so that provides a really awesome foundation to kind of build off of. Add in some personal flair, and part of that could include the vlogs. So in addition to some of the reader responses, the text reading and the projects, I add in some vlogs because I want to see the student voice incorporated in the work. And one way to do that is, I feel, when students have a chance to use their voice. Some of the other feedback that I received that students valued was the weekly announcement. So every week from week 1 all the way to week 16 and beyond and before, actually, you can see me every week giving an announcement. So usually it's going to include some type of welcome to make a connection with the students, if it's a holiday or if it's this new month or if it's the weather, some type of welcome to just make some type of connection. Also, what I do is have students think about what's due that current week, just so that they know that they're up to date. Like, oh yeah, this week I've been doing this and I'm completed up to this point. I also like to include like what's going to be due the following week. So hey, here are some of the next steps. Here's some of the things that you're going to want to do for the upcoming week. Once again, this is already laid out in the Canvas, in the course modules, like organized by weeks, but I also like to reinforce it through weekly announcements. In there, I might talk also about future projects that are up and coming. So even though it's not the following week, I might say, hey, you might want to think about that final project that's up and coming, and think about that lesson that you would love to incorporate in your own classroom. And that way, I think that plants a seed, not only for project completion, but also plants a seed to kind of generate some ideas and to kind of dream a little bit about this course. And lastly, I incorporate some relevant events in education into the announcements. I'll talk about that in a little bit when I get to the Ed Family YouTube videos portion. So then throughout the week, or on a specific day, when I'm doing the grading, the students are going to receive some individual and collective feedback. So it begins with the individual feedback. So whether it's the reader responses or projects that students are doing, oftentimes I'll be looking very specifically at what it is that the students are thinking about. I might even say in this course, a lot of students are doing transcendent thinking. They're thinking about their thinking. They're thinking about their youth. They're thinking about their past. They're thinking about their experiences and as it impacts their present and future. And so as it's impacting them, I like to just affirm them. Hey, great job thinking deeply about yourself. I might add a question. I might provide an extension around that. What I might do is if it's a powerful reflection, I might even use that quote and then kind of just save that quote so that when the opportunity arises, when I give feedback back to the class, remember the weekly announcements, I can give that collective feedback all back to the class so they can see like, oh wow, these are the kind of deep thinking that's happening all across the course. And once again, in a certain sense, it's kind of a mentor text to show the kind of level of thinking that's kind of happening. But also, I really do think it spurs on greater transcendent thinking when you see how other people are thinking about their own thinking, especially in a course like this, adolescent development, where you're thinking about youth and you're thinking about your own youth and the way that you were raised and how that impacts you today. And there's such profound implications, I feel, with adolescent development and the way we were raised and the way we grow up, parent, teach, and beyond. And then finally, another glow was the Ed Family YouTube videos. I try to create one a week minimum. And so that's my own way of kind of reflecting on what it is that I'm learning and then sharing my reflection with others. And so the way I'll use those videos is like during that week, the class can see, oh, this is what's happening in the field. This is boots on the ground education that's happening. And many students appreciate that, kind of having some idea of not just reading theory or hypothetical lessons, but no, this is actually what's happening and this is how it gets applied in real time. So they can see those Ed Family YouTube videos, usually a couple a week, and they're getting those updates as well. And in addition to that, sometimes when the individuals are doing their projects, they may have some questions, thoughts, or ideas, or I may want to help extend the thinking. I could add the link to that particular YouTube video clips because sometimes when I'm reading something, it's reminding me of something that I also thought about, and perhaps they would appreciate some additional thinking beyond that, but maybe I don't want to type the whole thing out. Or secondly, maybe they don't want to read what I typed and they'd rather watch a little video on that. So oftentimes I'll add that video in. So those are some glows of things that I'm like, yes, these are things that are working. I'm going to continue to do them. Here are some grows. And this is also a part of, I think, why these SOQs are important, because I think every now and then you need to pause and also reflect on your own practices. You know that I do that in my own classroom practices as well, although it's not necessarily required to do so in secondary education, at least where I'm at. But I think there's a place for this, and I think good practice should include asking students for their feedback, whether it's 100% accurate or whatever. I think we need to have a kind of like tough skin so that we can kind of like filter it and be able to sift the good from whatever it is that we receive, right? And so even myself, when I get the feedback, generally it's pretty good, but you know, sometimes like you get something that is not easy to hear perhaps. And so you got to ask yourself, where is the area of growth from this? And it might be taking the advice, it might be not taking the advice, it could be adapting the advice. So in my situation, related to vlogs. And so I think the students valued the vlogs, but I didn't create it in Canvas, where that's our learning management system, where students can very easily give feedback to one another, and you could tell who said what to whom, and that is also graded, because sometimes I like it to be a little bit organic, but sometimes if it's not graded, then it doesn't get done as much. And I did actually have it graded, but it was more of a summative assessment, like have you been doing it, rather than on each and every single vlog. I had 3 in this course, for example. Did you upload and did you provide 4 posts? Like, it wasn't every single vlog. And then yeah, so what are my goals? My goals are to do that and then continue with the feedback. And I think also that aspect of this time, adding feedback with the YouTube video clips, I think that was helpful for the students, and they got something a little bit more than just by written feedback. And that was something I think I did more of in this course than I have otherwise. So in general, the feedback was very good. Once again, even the things that I thought was going well, what does this help me to do? Helps me to reinforce what is going well. And I think that's very important. In fact, that's my leadership style, right? To raise what you praise. So if something is going well, then you talk about it and you continue to do it, and that helps you to get better at that. And then there's also, of course, areas where some students had questions or saw areas of potential improvement, and that's something to consider seriously. So those become areas to grow. And then what are my decisions? Well, those are 2 areas where I'm wanting to go for the next time. So I thought I'd share a little bit of the feedback that adjunct faculty or professors may do when they look at the SOQ or feedback that they receive. I think most professors read all the feedback and they take it pretty serious. And so you could know that when you put the time in to write down the feedback, it's something that's considered pretty significantly by faculty. And so thank you. I appreciate those who took the time to give feedback, even nice comments, but also suggestions, things like that. Also appreciate that as well, because you can see that I'm thinking about what were the strengths, what were the areas of improvements, and then where can I move from here. So this is Dr. Jeff signing out, sharing a little bit about how I use SOQ feedback to improve my own instruction.